Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Facts Matter. I am Aton. This is Mookie. Today we have a special segment for you. I'm going to expose some Holocaust deniers for you. I'm going to show you just how stupid and childish these people can be. And keep in mind, these are people who are trying to tell me that my grandparents were lying to me when they told us about all the family members that we had exterminated in the Holocaust. And on top of that, they also want to tell me that all the pictures and photographs that we have of all these dead relatives, that I guess those relatives are still alive somewhere and we just don't know about it. I guess that seems like a reasonable argument to present, right? So they never quite got to that part of the argument they wanted to present. And let's talk about where it all starts. So we'll be putting up some facts, little bubbles from Twitter to kind of show you guys the evolution of this conversation that I had with these Holocaust deniers. Um, but it begins with a tweet where someone's basically saying, if you attended a funeral for each day for the children that were killed in Gaza, you would still be attending those funerals 41 years later. And me, in my smarmy usual way, I obviously had to respond to that and let the person know that if we were doing that for the kids killed in the Holocaust, we'd still be attending those funerals today and for many centuries from today. So obviously this draws a lot of attention, and that's when the Holocaust deniers descend on the scene. And we've got this guy, Tim Nielsen, really brilliant guy, and he makes an accusation like, "Oh, I've got proof that the Holocaust isn't real," and I basically call him out on it, let him know like you're talking to the wrong guy because I actually have family members, like a lot of them that were exterminated, and if I have over 40 through one of my grandparents, then like how is it so difficult to reach 6 million, right? Like why is that a astronomical number for you to consider? So he calls onto the scene an expert historian he knows by the name of Kristen Mundy. Now, let me tell you this historian's credentials. He spent 2 years in Germany and visited the Holocaust Museum a couple times. He also spent a lot of time on public transportation while going to these Holocaust sites that he gained his expertise from. And let's talk about the arguments he presented because these are really good. So the first one is about some patients that are in a hospital in Berlin, Jewish patients that are found at the end of World War II. And somehow Mr. Mundy forgets that it was very common for fascist leaders to keep hostages of important people or attached to important people in order for them to gain leverage on those people at some point. So that's just one argument I can present. The other one, we can delve into the eugenics dimension of this, where Hitler was obviously obsessed with studying people, with, Jews especially. So we can get into all that too, but that's really unnecessary because they're probably just kept as hostages. It's a lot more likely than Hitler had these Jews in a hospital, so that means he was a really nice guy because he's taking care of those Jews. Yeah, that just means he's a humanitarian. That makes a lot of sense. Next argument he presents. He shows me a picture of some Jews smiling at a soccer game in 1944 when rumors of the death camps were starting to circulate about how he's rounding up all these Jews and basically exterminating all of them. We see a propaganda film from Nazi Germany showing a soccer game between Jewish prisoners and I guess they're Nazi guards or something. And somehow, because the Jews who are filmed are smiling and happy, this proves that Hitler really wasn't treating them badly. It's the same logic that you would use when you want to argue. Look, they're smiling at the Hamas terrorists when they're being returned. clearly it wasn't so bad. Yeah, because you're just gonna like give the middle finger to the guy with the machine gun pointed at you, right? Yeah, you're gonna show him exactly what a tough guy you are and how, like, even if he beats me, I'm gonna be nice to him and smile and wave. Okay, because he has a machine gun. All right, where do we move to next? Next argument he presents: Germany doesn't have any Holocaust denial laws. He's wrong. They do. And I showed him this, and we'll show it up here. So it's presented first in 1950, and it's an amendment to hate speech laws. So that's not good enough for him, because that's just a hate speech law. So then I show him another clause that was adopted in the early 90s, which specifically stipulates that Holocaust denial is not allowed. What does this great historian counter back with? He actually tries to say that because it's a clause within a hate speech law, that does not constitute a specific law outlawing Holocaust denial. So that's the type of argument that you're going to get into with these people. That is how desperately they will. They claim to be neutral. He literally claims to be true neutral, like he's a Dungeons and Dragons character. And in the next breath, he's going to try to argue that point about a clause not being a definitive law when that clause specifically states you will go to jail if you deny the Holocaust. It doesn't matter in what context you deny it. That is what that law allows them to do. So we move on from this, and the final argument he presents, and this is the best one: where did all the Jewish bodies go? I don't know. Maybe they went into the crematorium that basically every concentration camp had. And maybe they were put in the crematorium so that the Nazi camp guards could collect the gold teeth from the bodies. Maybe that's just one idea. The same idea that like prisoners from the camps have retold as to like what was going on there and why there wouldn't be that many bodies for you to recover, because maybe Hitler was trying to cover his tracks a little. Okay, so I think we've covered the stupidity of these arguments. And if Tim Nielsen wants to counter, if he actually wants to provide a shred of proof to validate his claims against my family, then I encourage him to. I would really like to know that my grandparents were lying to me if they really were. So I challenge you to prove that my grandparents were liars. I challenge you to do that. And if you can't, then you and the like 7,000 people that follow your dumbass need to really reconsider whether they should open their mouths about Holocaust denial. All right, then. Take care, guys.